take a look at what's happening in the market. And I am doing this pre-market. It might come out a little bit later than pre-market, but there are some big things that happen today, from banks announcing very strong earnings to CPI data. So this only comes out monthly. This is going to be pretty interesting to take a look at because there's actually a lot going on and a lot happening behind the scenes. We'll also talk about why crypto is selling down right now. So we actually are seeing some decent sized dips in a lot of these cryptos. So we're going to take a look at that. Now, if you guys don't mind just hitting the like button, I really appreciate that. It helps out the channel. Also, while you're down there, if you guys want to check out BlockFi, you can get an interest rate on your crypto. For example, so far this month, we're only halfway through the month, and I've already made $74 on crypto interest. So pretty nice deal there if you guys want to check that out. There also is a link down there in case you want to sign up for their Bitcoin back rewards card. You can just be put on the wait list and determine later if you want to actually get the card. But that is underneath the video also. Now let's take a look at JPM's earnings today. So they had earnings surprise. They beat on revenue and on earnings pretty significantly. So their EPS was $3.78 versus the $3.15 estimate. And once you take out their credit reserve releases, because again, they had a lot of credit reserves that they built up last year for people that were going to default on loans. After you take that away, it was still $3.03. Now, JPM is actually trading down a little bit on this. People thought they might beat by even more after they had $4.50 last quarter. But these banks are really important to look at as the start of earnings to see what they say about the consumer, which is why I love this right here. He noted that the consumer balance sheet remains extremely strong while the economic outlook continues to improve. The CEO pointed out that net charge-offs were down 53%, which was better than expected, reflecting the increasingly healthy condition of our customers and clients. He added that debit card and credit card spending was up 45% from a year ago because we saw a lot of people just saving money, and up 22% from the second quarter of 2019, pre-pandemic levels. So we are seeing consumers spend significantly more money, which is a good sign that we are getting back kind of to normal. So they had their results here broken down a little bit more. We don't have to look at that, but let's take a look at another bank here that reported. Goldman Sachs on Tuesday reported second quarter earnings that blew past Wall Street expectations. They beat earnings by about 30%, 33%, and they beat revenue by about 25%. So this is another good earnings from the banks. Now, this kicks off earnings season. I did a video on this yesterday. I'll put it on the end screen. But this kicks off earnings season and kind of sets the tone. It tells us what consumers are doing. It tells us what the big banks are doing, where they're making their money, which is a good thing to know moving into Facebook, Google, Amazon, all these other earnings, and the smaller companies too. But these usually start before the other earnings. Now, this is not the only big news that we had today. We also had the CPI data. And this was a rough one. So some people think that inflation is here to stay. Some people think that it is just transitory. Now, personally, I have some invested in crypto, and some people consider that an inflation hedge, but other people say it really hasn't been tested. I think it is good to have something that's not directly tied to the stock market. So that is why I hold some cryptocurrency, bullish on it long term anyways. But let's take a look at some of the items here. All items over the last 12 months up 5.4%. So just this month, we had the index rise 0.9%, which is very significant after it rose 0.7% in May. So again, a huge jump. This is the largest jump that we've seen since 2008. So definitely a large jump, 0.9. Where did most of this come from? Well, we have a couple different categories that are pretty significantly high. So we have used cars and trucks up another 10.5%. That's huge. Look at the 12 month here, 45%. If you've been looking to sell your used car and you don't need a car, now might be the time to do it. We have some other categories too. We have new vehicles up 2.2%, not very significant. We have fuel up 2.9%. And there was a large increase in, once we break it down, there's another page that you can break it down. It was clothes and then some food too. So some types of food are up pretty significantly. Clothes, apparel are up pretty significantly too. So these are just kind of the larger ones here. So overall, huge numbers coming up for CPI, right? Those are very high inflation numbers. Now, the stock market's actually holding up quite well. The Treasury went up significantly, the 10-year Treasury yield. It went up significantly, then came back down. So overall, it seems like the market is actually reacting pretty well to this, realizing that maybe this is transitory, which is kind of interesting, right? You wouldn't expect really high numbers to come out and the market to say, it's fine, right? You would think that they would freak out a little bit, especially after we had a lot of fear when we started to get up into these numbers. Now, who knows what can happen by the end of the day, by the end of this sentence, anything can happen. So we could see a lot of fear throughout the rest of the day, throughout the next week or two. But I think the good earnings, that is helping a little bit, especially, like I said, this is some really important wording here. The consumer balance sheet remains extremely strong. That is very good. Now, crypto is selling off. Now, there's a lot of fear in crypto for a couple different reasons. A lot of it comes from the GBTC unlock that happens this week and the future weeks. A large portion of GBTC is going to be unlocked for clients to decide what they want to do with it, whether they want to liquidate their positions and liquidate Bitcoin later on Sunday. So I think there is some fear from that. But we did see a dip once the inflation data came out. Now, that could just be coincidence. Otherwise, it could be the fact that maybe people are saying, no, this really is transitory and we're not too worried about it. We don't need Bitcoin as a hedge. But to be fair, it barely dropped down. Some of these other cryptos are dropping down more. So I think it's more fear-based than anything else and just maybe coincidence, because I don't think that they would coincide this much. Now, of course, do all your own research. The other thing is they could be saying, hey, CPI data is really high, inflation is really high. We think the Fed's going to change rates, which makes risk on assets more risky. So that might be the other thing. Now, like I said, do your research. I'm not a financial advisor. I'm not a stock or crypto analyst. Of course, I want to hear what you guys think about this down below. Are you worried about inflation? What are you doing to combat inflation? Are you buying cryptos? Are you buying gold, silver? Are you buying stocks? Let me know down below. Now, I do want to say, if you guys want, there is a link down there to BlockFi. Like I said, you get an interest rate up to 10%, and you can get on the wait list for that Bitcoin card. I actually talked to them about being able to pay that card with your stablecoin balance, so that would pretty much cut out the need for banks, because they pay 10% right now. I think they're cutting it down to 7%. But if you could put, like, let's say you could get $100,000 in there one day, you would get $7,000 of interest. That'd be like $600 a month that you could put on that card, and you would just never really have to pay because it would just be paid from your interest. That would be very cool. So if you guys want that, you can check out the link down below. There's no annual fee. There's an extra bonus for signing up. You get a bonus on your stablecoin. A lot of cool stuff. Check that out underneath the video. Thank you guys, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.